Alright, what's going on, you guys? Brian back with another recap video, recapping everything that went down on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania this past weekend, 2 nights of title changes, things being, scores being settled, um, plus a bunch of other stuff happening. So, of course, at WrestleMania, we saw Roman Reigns retain his Universal Championship in a triple threat match against Edge and Daniel Bryan. We also saw Bianca Belair making history, becoming the SmackDown Women's Champion in the main event of Night 1. We also saw Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, where Kevin Owens picked up the win. We would see a rematch between the two on tonight's episode of SmackDown, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But a bunch of other stuff happened at WrestleMania this past weekend. Cesaro picking up his first singles victory at WrestleMania over Seth Rollins. So let's get into tonight's SmackDown. We started off with the Universal Champion, the head of the table, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, along with his right-hand man, Jey Uso, and the Special Counsel, Paul Heyman. He talked about his victory at WrestleMania over Edge and Daniel Bryan. He basically said there was nobody else, that nobody's on his level. He would be interrupted by Cesaro. The two would go face to face. Nothing really physical as far as physicality is concerned. When Cesaro went to get a microphone, Roman and company left the ring. Then in a backstage segment, Cesaro would ask Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville for a match against Roman tonight on SmackDown. And we would find out an answer to that challenge a little bit later on in the show. Rey Mysterio defeated Otis in a match between two teams that have been going at it for quite a while. That being Otis and Chad Gable, and the Mysterios. That being Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic. But Rey Mysterio picked up a win over Otis in one-on-one competition. We heard from the Special Counsel, Paul Heyman, who cut a promo about Cesaro and Cesaro's challenge. And he basically said that Cesaro is not going to face Roman Reigns, but he will be in the main event against main event Jey Uso, who last week on SmackDown won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on the special WrestleMania SmackDown last week. So we would see that in the main event. We heard from Sami Zayn, who basically did what he does every week. He complained about being screwed over at WrestleMania. He blamed Logan Paul. He blamed this. He blamed that for his loss against Kevin Owens. He would call Owens out for a rematch, and that would be the next matchup, as Kevin Owens would defeat Sami Zayn via countout, and then afterwards the two would brawl on the ramp until it ended back in the ring. Then we heard from the new Intercontinental Champion, Apollo Crews, who talked about his victory at WrestleMania, where he defeated Big E to win the Intercontinental title with the help of his new enforcer, henchman, Aziz, I think is what the guy's name is now. The formerly known as Dabba-Kato. With Aziz by Apollo Crews' side, I don't see anybody that will be able to beat Apollo Crews for that Intercontinental Championship, because it's going to be kind of a situation like with AJ Styles with Almas. You're going to have to worry about that big guy at ringside for anyone that faces Apollo Crews. We had the celebration for the brand new SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. She came out, she cut a promo talking about her victory at WrestleMania. Basically just cut a passionate speech about how, you know, you can, if you dream it, you can be it. And so that was pretty much it for that. Afterwards, we would hear, or there would be an interview with the former SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks, who basically didn't say a word. She was still angry, upset, obviously, at losing the SmackDown Women's title to Bianca Belair at WrestleMania on night 1. Then we had a Bayley interview where she basically made a challenge to Bianca Belair for a match for the SmackDown Women's title, saying that the only way to bring back prestige to that title is if she holds it and she wins it. We then saw the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, successfully defending their SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Street Profits. This has been months and months in the making. We heard from Cesaro, who did an interview about the words and the insults by Paul Heyman, or what they called the derogatory remarks made by Paul Heyman earlier in the night. And that was pretty much it for that. He also talked about facing Jey Uso in the main event. We had Natalya defeating one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Shayna Baszler. After the match, Nia Jax would get in the ring to try to attack Natalya, but she would get a super kick from Tamina, Natalya's tag team partner. And then in the main event, Cesaro defeated Jey Uso when he was going to go for the swing on Jey, but Seth Rollins interfered and caused the disqualification. So that was pretty much it for SmackDown. There, from this list that I have, from my notes, from the results that when I watched SmackDown, there were only 5 matches. The rest were promos or interviews. And the one thing that I think maybe made a lot of people mad, or probably watched SmackDown tonight, was the fact that they kept replaying over and over again the one part of the Cesaro-Seth Rollins match from WrestleMania where Cesaro picked up Rollins for that UFO swing where he puts the guy on his shoulders and starts spinning and spinning and spinning with no hands, and it kind of got repetitive with them. It seemed like every segment it was like, will Cesaro be able to do what he did? Will Cesaro do to Jey Uso what he did at WrestleMania to Seth Rollins? And right away they replayed that part. I mean, one time, if you show it one time, that's fine, but not throughout the entire show. I mean, we understand Cesaro is strong. He can pull off these things, these moves, but come on, don't be repetitive. Don't show the same thing. Oh, and I kind of got a little sick of it because it was like, okay, you show it one time. Okay, that's fine. They showed it one time. But then it was like, they showed it again. Then they showed it again. Then they showed it again. And I'm like, why are you showing the same thing over and over and over again? But, it's either here or there. Tonight's SmackDown, I mean, it was really nothing special. Obviously, the Seth Rollins and Cesaro feud is going to continue. So who's going to be next in line for a match against Roman Reigns for the Universal title? I mean, who's going to step up to Bianca Belair and her new SmackDown Women's title reign? So that we'll have to find out. We'll have to wait and see. But other than that, it was really nothing special about the SmackDown after WrestleMania. I thought there would be some debuts. or something like that. But there was really nothing. So, yeah, pretty much this has been my SmackDown recap. As I said before, really nothing special on this show tonight. If you guys watched SmackDown, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. This has been my SmackDown recap. As always, I am Brian, and I will see you next time. See ya.